Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia.
Good morning, Anita.
Good morning. It's not raining this morning yet.
Not yet, not yet. Let me see if Wendy sent me the sunrise.
Oh, the sunrise in Germany? Somewhere?
No, Wendy here.
Wendy.
She's visiting from
some other place.
From Georgia. She's here in Fort Lauderdale visiting.
So, Dr. Mencia, when we think about what you want to talk about, everyone loves your medical information, but I wanted to talk
you're going to talk about my secret.
I want to talk about your secret staff.
Yeah, that's my secret weapon.
Yeah,
my
that
staff.
is your secret weapon. As a psychologist, basically, what is it that you do? Because it has to happen from the leadership that gives everybody that beautiful feeling about your patients when they come in. Well,
you just hit on it. It's called leadership. You can have staff working, and a lot of doctors, they have good intention, they have good ideas, but when it comes to running a business, you have to have the supporting staff, And the other day I was talking to a physician that he said, I've been struggling trying to build up my practice. So I asked him, well, how do you do it? Tell me what you do. Well, I see patients, then I go home, then I submit my bills, then I go through all my invoices. I say, why are you doing that? Why don't you hire somebody? Oh, it's going to cost me money. I say, of course. You can own a business, but you can, don't become too much of a business person because you're going to become less of a doctor.
Good
you have
advice.
to have, you have to have the supporting staff, to run that business, and you do what you do best, which is being a doctor. So that had been one of my incentive every day when I go to work, is I try to be a good leader, show my staff good leadership, and be really honest with them. So when they are suffering, I suffer with them. When they are happy, I'm happy with them. And, some of my staff had been with me for years. They had been there with this practice for years, and we have become like a family. And another thing that I do, and sometimes my patient come in and they, we have this big meeting in the waiting room, in the reception area, no waiting room. When they say, don't call it waiting room, reception area. So in the reception area. And, sometimes the patient come in and we are all there having, a big meeting. And those things are important because we are a family, but not fully bound by blood. So when it's like that, it's when you have like a lot of animals running in an open field, you have to keep them together. You have to put energy to keep them together. So those meetings are the ones that bring all of us together so that we are all in the same page. At least our objective when it comes to the company and the company philosophy, that we're all together. And before we went on the air, we were talking about the fact that, many times, you go to see a doctor and you love the doctor, but you just hate the staff. They are very rude, very impolite, they treat you like garbage, and the patient don't understand why. And they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "It's nothing I can do."
That's right. That's what they say. It's amazing.
Nothing I can do. Of course, there's something you can do. It's how you make the change. If you have somebody in your staff that is extremely important, how do you transition without affecting your patient care? That's the key. But of course, there is always something you can do. We've been through a lot of stuff. We have kissed so many frogs to get where we are. But, now we've been loaded with princess, and king and queen, and and I think everybody in the staff, they are so important. They all do their job, and that's another thing I tell them. Like the fingers of the hand, they are different, but they are all extremely important. So whether
That's a
you
good
are,
one.
of course, yeah, whether you are a manager or you are the newest member of the office, they are all important. The manager and the new person, because another thing that I do with my staff is when I get a new member that joined the family, is that it's like when you get a new baby. What do you do with the new baby? You give them a lot of time, a lot of attention, a lot of care. And that then will produce the fruits of the future, which is an excellent employee. So when a new person comes in, we all cater to that person. Okay, have you learned this? Have you learned that? Let's try it again. If the person, as long as that person is willing and able to learn, we keep all teaching that person to make the person better.
I really feel what you're saying are not just words, but you really have made this happen. A good example, for example, is you walk into your office, and it's funny. I never thought about the word waiting room. I hate it, but that's what everyone says. Go to the waiting room. Well, we're not doing the waiting room. I love your staff for saying no. It's not a waiting room. It's a reception area. But your concierge. That's another thing that's changed.
Thing, right?
It says concierge. You tell me, am I in a hotel or where am I? And the person is right there in front of you. They're so friendly, and you've gone through some people.
There's no glass between the patient and the staff.
And there's a place you sign in and then you wait. But nevertheless, Dr. Mencia winds up somehow saying goodbye to his patients. He walks outside into the not waiting area, but
the reception area.
but he's receiving them or they're leaving the leaving area, and he hugs them, and he's so friendly. And no matter how busy he is, but it's because of your staff you can do that, because you do give people their time in the office, in your medical office, but you don't. I never have felt that I was rushed, but I know that you have something to do. You do it, then you go to the next patient. But the staff is there now to help you finish.
Right.
So you have figured out something, and now I don't know of another practice that has also a dental office as well as a medical office. So somehow you've been figuring out how to do all this.
Mm-hmm. And with the dental department, I guess, and I tell you, I guess, no, I'll tell you the truth. It's the patients that always telling me, there's so many patients that genuinely care for me. And they come, like you and I now, we're talking and you gave me advice. Don't do this with a machine, do that with a machine. Patient will come and I have a realm of information just from my patient, because some of them are executive manager, president of company. They have built company. They have done so many things,
and they're from all over the world.
All over the world, all kind of cultural and information that they carry with them, and when they like you, then they offer to you. And it was, one of the patients that said, your dental department is great. You guys doing great. But why you don't do what you're doing down here? In medical, you have the cardiologist, you have the dermatologist, you have the podiatrist, you have the eye doctor. It's wonderful. Do you know in dental you can do the same thing? I said, we usually refer out. He said, why? If we come here to see your general dentist and we need an implant, what's the big deal? Do you need like a OR? You need a big office? What do you need to do that? It's the same thing when I go to another doctor. He came from one of the retired dentists from New York that gave me the idea. And I said, that's a great idea. So I went back to the dental department and we had a meeting. I said, okay, let's start building up dental just like we did with medical. And it have come to that level that we can do basically everything in-house, from taking care of your gums, one of the dentists that specializes in that, to producing a beautiful smile. We have dentists that specializes in that, to a person that just to extract the tooth because it's time to come out. you know. So the dental department now have evolved, and that has been, I guess, another of my secret, that I do listen to my patient.
You listen.
You know?
You are a listener to everybody. I admire that for you. I guess you have so much confidence in yourself that you don't worry that you're not good. You're just absorbing other people. And the other thing is that maybe that's why you have now changed the entire environment at the dental department. It's like, whoa, it is like going out into outer space.
It's so beautiful.
So beautiful.
So beautiful. It has come out so great. And I'm proud of myself because I was the architect. I designed it. I had to say
you,
that.
Right?
Yeah, I designed it, and Ernesto, the handyman that have been working with me, he is such a wonderful, honest person. You know how many handymen you will give your credit card and they will go and keep it for weeks, and you know that they will only buy what they need. And this guy, because in order to build the new reception area, we have to tear wall down. But he will take the material because he was born and raised in Cuba. So he know how much material we tend to waste in this country. So he will take a wall down, and he said, this plywood is really good. I can still use it. And he will flip it and put it in the new design, and I go, wow. And I mean, left and right, he will save money, take nail out. He will straighten them out and put it on the side so he can use them again. It's, oh, my God, so wonderful. But he had done great.
So, Dr. Mencia, when I went in there, it's almost like going into a hotel reception area. It's so beautiful. So I was thinking, now that you're expanding, what we have to do is at night when you're not using it, let's put some beds in there, and it can be a hotel.
I just put up yesterday, the day before. I'm sorry, yesterday, an infinity mirror in the dental reception area, and the dental manager, Ina. She saw the mirror up there, so she got jealous, and she said, I want a mirror like that downstairs. So, okay, we'll give you 2 doors down there with the same mirror.
Oh, my goodness. I was thinking the next thing is an infinity pool somewhere, right?
The jacuzzi.
The jacuzzi. Well, but it has made a difference. And so what you've really been doing, I guess, is investing a lot of all the years where you've built up the practice now to making it nice.
And I had a meeting with the staff and the dental department. They say, doctor, with what you have done, you can easily raise your prices, and, you will make the little investment you have here in no time. And I say, you know what, my philosophy can have, you can change your look without changing your philosophy. I say our philosophy had been first-class care at coach prices.
I never heard that from you before.
Yes, when I built the office, when we did the open house. Remember when we did the open house?
Yes.
That's the first time I say that phrase,
yes.
And I have kept it. Being able to build something that is like the building. When I designed that building in Fort Lauderdale, a lot of the architect and the construction people say, doctor, but it's not for a plastic surgeon you're doing this. It's, it's a medical office. I say, yeah, but I want a plastic surgeon look. I want something that looks majestic. That, it's going to take more time to make up the investment, but we're going to be happy. Patients going to be happy to come, and they're going to feel they are being treated with dignity. And I'm going to be happy to come and see patient. And the doctor that come here will be happy to come and see patient because of the way we have built this up.
And so if you're wondering about Dr. Andy Mencia, I have to jump in here and tell you that's who you're listening to. For those of you, we have mostly listeners who listen every Saturday to Dr. Mencia, but you might have new ones. So let's just say it's the AGI Medical and Dental Centers, and we're talking about Fort Lauderdale. And, of course, he has a beautiful new office in Boynton Beach now on Hagen Ranch Road. But let's get back to the Fort Lauderdale office because it is open on Saturdays, which is very unusual. In fact, I see some doctors now starting to open on Saturdays. I guess they were losing business. They were coming to you. So some other doctors have gotten a little smart here. But open Saturdays, and it's over there on East Commercial Boulevard, right? 1608 East Commercial, which is very close to Holy Cross Hospital. Get your pencils out. This is Pencil Talk Radio. Let's give you the phone number. You can just call there and tell them, if you're having an emergency, or even if you just decided you want to see all the beautiful new architecture there, that you can go and look. It's 954-489-1345. 954-489-1345. And home visit services are available to homebound patients. This is extremely important. I don't know of another medical practice here in South Florida that does that. Of course, Medicare and most major insurances are accepted. Their website is agifl.com, agifl.com. And then for those of you who are in the Boynton Beach area up in West Palm, this is a beautiful new office in a gorgeous shopping center right there. It's just west of Woolbright, and it's south of Woolbright and of Boynton Beach Boulevard on Hagen Ranch Road. And their number is 561-270-6494, 270-6494. And the most important thing that I don't talk about, but you should, Dr. Mencia, is all your highly trained specialists. It's not just a medical office where you are the only person there.
Right, exactly. The concept I have come with, I'm trying to build together, is if you imagine a pie with a cherry in the middle, and the cherry is the patient.
I thought you were the cherry.
No, the patient.
For me, you were the cherry. Sorry.
on the outer skirt of that pie is all of the providers. So, but we all interact. So, the patient is just part of the whole team. And the objective here is, number one, to provide comprehensive, faster, complete, state-of-the-art patient care. So comprehensive because we are communicating with each other and with the patient at their level. It's not talking this medical terminology that you have to go and start looking in your computer to see what this thing means and what that means. By the time you come up with an answer, now you are worse than before. You are more stressed out than when you started. So it's being able for us to sit down and talk, and just like we do in the radio show when we bring one of the consultants that come to the office and we talk to them, and they talk at a level that the audience listening to us, then I bring them down. I say, okay, explain to me what you mean by kyphoplastia. Let's talk about this concept, because people won't even know how to write that term. So we have to communicate with the patient. When we communicate in the computer, in the chart, we have to use the medical terminology, of course. But not when we communicate with that patient. The patient is not a doctor. And even if the patient is the doctor, well, what kind of doctor are you? Because that doesn't mean that you understand all the terminology. You can be a doctor that specializes in the eyes. You might not understand anything about what's going on with the liver, the latest thing on the liver. So we need to explain to the person. And a lot of my patients are retired professional physicians and lawyers and educated people. Still doesn't mean that they have the terminology and they understand the newest treatment that are out there. So when we all get together, all the specialists, the heart specialist, the skin specialist, the eye specialist, the food doctor, we put the patient at the center and say, how can we all together here with all the education that we have, if we add that up, we should be able to get to the point, get to the root of the problem much easier, and come up with a better solution for the patient, and at the same time be able to give the patient choices, so that they can say, well, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do A. I can do C. It's make more sense. It's something that I can appreciate more and accept better. So, give the patient the choices, make the patient the decision maker, in the group. But knowing, a lot of time I tell the patient, you're going to see my dermatologist, but afterward, feel free to come and talk to me before you make a decision. So I'm always there. I become the advocate, being the primary care doctor and the geriatrician, the advocate to my patients so that I can protect them and help them make the right decision without pushing them. At that point, I don't care who the consultants are. Patient comes first.
That's wonderful to hear you say that, and you believe it. See, the other thing is you can't tell your staff how to act. They have to see how the leader acts.
Exactly.
Then they're going to do it.
Exactly.
So how could they be mean to patients when they never see you're being mean? In fact, I guess they know that if they ever were mean to a patient and you saw it, that's it.
Oh, they see.
Go.
Oh, yeah. Then they see the monster come out of it. Yeah. Because I tell them, when I tell them when I go in there, like, I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want any problem. I'm here to take care of patients. So among my staff and me, I write a quote every day, and I put it by a place that they all can read it. And I was so happy this week when I went to Boynton office. One of the dental assistants, she write the quote on a board so people can read it.
Her own quote?
No, my quote.
She put it up there.
She put it up there so people in Boynton
great.
can read the quote. So I was there and I said, oh my God, look at my quote is here. So she write the quote and she write it so the staff in Boynton can read the quote also. And sometimes the staff come to me and they ask me, what does that quote mean? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Really?
So, again, it's like we are all like bunch of animals want to do good, but it's in an open field. We need to have the leadership and the energy to keep us all together. So, and people, are good by nature. People want to do good.
Yes.
So it's up to us. So we are not animal with bad intention. We're animal in the energy sense of the word. We work very hard from the moment we come in, and we do not. I was so proud yesterday in the morning. I noticed that, and I like to observe. I like to listen. I like to observe, and I noticed the patient yesterday was a lab day. People come for their blood work, and they come to see me also and see the other specialists. But the blood work usually come very early in the morning so they can go and eat. So I was observing that as soon as the first patient come in, they pick up the phone and they call medical assistant, one up for lab. And they come rushing to grab that child, get the patient in. When the next person was in, the next medical assistant jumped into action. They drop what they're doing. And I say, they understand that patient go first, patient first. I don't care what you are doing. If it's not urgent, put it aside. Go and take care of that person, because that person have not eaten now for hours. And if you drop the blood and you don't delay, they're going to go and eat. And sometimes they come with their little lunch bag or the little breakfast bag, and they have their food there to eat. And
Dr. Mencia, I have to just say we never have enough time, but I really wanted to talk about this morning because I think it makes your practice unique. And the phone number to call, and they're open Saturdays, and of course Dr. Mencia is rushing off.
Yeah,
never
dental
get to
is
have
open,
him
medical
at all
is
for
open.
breakfast. That's right. 954-489-1345. They could just go down there. Should they call? Or can they just go down to see you?
They can come and see, or they can call, whatever they want to.
So if you're having any kind of a bad feeling about something, please go down there, because you're going to feel so much better after you see Dr. Mencia and his staff. So thank you, Dr. Mencia. And
thank you, Anita.
I'm so glad that you were here this morning. You made me feel better anyway.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Wonderful World of Wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. Be sure to tune in each Saturday morning from 7 to 7:30 right here on WSBR 740 AM.